G'day guys, just waiting for this to all link up. It looks like it has. How are we all doing today? This is Saturday my time, so Friday where most of you guys are watching from. This is a last minute live. We weren't going to do a live today. You were going to see some printing that I've done, and we've canned that for now because I don't know how many of you guys actually upload or are actually creators on YouTube, but when you upload now, it does, you upload it, it goes through and checks it all, and it checks it all for basically community guidelines, if you like. So no one's like carrying on too much, there's no like nudity and all that sort of business, and they also check for copyright strikes, for copyright material. And I think what's happening there, I went and had a look afterwards because it was taking a long time. So all the music and stuff that I get is through Epidemic Sound. So it's a service that I pay for on a monthly sort of, on a yearly basis. And basically all the music that you guys hear on the videos that I put out is from that service. So it's a paid thing. I'm well entitled to use that music. Before I used that though, I was using another sort of platform. It was free also, but you had to give credit to the creator who made that. And I think, and when I went and had a look, it was one of those earlier bits of music. So I've downloaded it and I've used it thinking it was an Epidemic Sound sound file, but it was one of the original ones. And I think it was taking so long because I was probably about to get a copyright strike. So I just pulled it down. I'll re-edit that video now, put music that I know is okay so that I'm not going to get any strikes and stuff. So that's why you're not seeing that today. But when you do see it, which will probably be next Friday now, is you'll be impressed with what some of these phones can do as far as printing goes. Who we got going on here? G'day from Copenhagen. So we've got a few people here by the look of it. I'll just check the browser side. No, there's a few of you guys in here. There's 9 or 10 by the look of it. So today it's a little bit of a last minute sort of a thing, I guess. We will do, I've got some more information on 2 new phones that are coming later this year. As far as I talked about a little bit last week or last live stream with the iPhone 13 and the Pixel 6. More information's come out on both of those, so I've got a few things to talk about there. Basically, for us as people who take photos in the dark, because we're just nut jobs, it's going to be a good year. I'm going to ask about the music. So the music that I use is all through Epidemic Sound. If you have a look at, Devo, you're a creator too, I think. Are you the... Sorry, dude, I get a lot of comments from people and messages from people, but I'm pretty sure... Oh, you're the Facebook guy. So you do Xbox and gaming streaming, is that right? And if that's the case, mate, Epidemic Sound, can't recommend it highly enough. There's a link in pretty much every video that I do for Epidemic Sound. I think you may get a discount if you use that link, and if it's not a discount, maybe I get a discount, something like that. Thanks, Danny. I'll keep that in mind, mate. Send me an email or something, mate, if you don't mind. We'll have a chat about your music and what you've got going on. Mark. Yeah, thanks, mate. I'll probably explain to you guys last time that the more this channel's growing, the more so many people contact me about different things, and it's why I've gone and done a couple of things with social media, with Facebook especially, to try and get some of that off my back. And what happens is I end up forgetting who I'm speaking to in so many of the cases. I'll speak about this iPhone 13 very shortly, mate. Let's go through a few housekeeping things first. I'll just duck over here. There is this competition still running on Instagram. So if you go to Instagram, look for my name, Shane Mostyn, all one word, and enter into that competition. That there's got less than 2 weeks to run. So if you're interested in winning one of these phone covers, like the glass covers that go onto your phone, These are the Whitestone dome glass. Get in there, enter into that competition. There's been a few entries into there, and it's a good bit of kit. I'll send these wherever they are in the world, wherever you guys are from, that will win this thing. For those that don't know, over there on Phone Photo School, there's a couple of ways that I earn some dollars on this channel. I've got 20-something thousand subscribers now. It's not exactly the king's ransom that you earn from YouTube in doing this. So this is one way that I earn a few dollars. That is with the presets. So if you haven't seen those presets, head over there and have a look at those. The presets are a way just to help you start your edit on any photos that you take. Just keep on. I'll be talking about the iPhone 13 very shortly, mate. Hold on. What else do we want to talk about? We'll get into that iPhone 13 business now. So, as most of you know, when new phones are coming out, people who work in factories, people who work in couriers and stuff, people who are transporting gear from one place to another, they tend to leak a bit of stuff. And there's a couple of people on the internet who are gathering all this stuff up and putting it all together and saying this is what it's going to look like. And Apple has always been very secretive about what they have. There's a few things that have come out, and I'll go through them here. So these are mainly from Max Weinbach and Minchi Ju. If I say that right or not, I'm not 100% sure. Sorry, guys. So there's a few things that they're doing that are rumored to be happening with these phones. So with the iPhone, they're talking about the notch there. That's going to be a smaller notch, and there's a photo of someone who's, I don't know, maybe they've pinched it, I don't know, but you can see there's going to be a smaller notch on the front. The camera across we don't even know if it's going to be called the 13 yet. It could be called the 12S. It could be called the iPhone 21, and they might be following the path of the Galaxy S21 because it's 2021, I don't know. But no one actually knows for sure what it's going to be called yet. But it's certainly rumored to have the 120 megahertz refresh, the screen, so it refreshes quite nicely. There's a lot of things that I'm seeing in the rumors that are coming out that they're kind of, it looks like they're going to be going and trying to play catch up a little bit with the S21. Things like portrait mode video, they're going to be doing, so the S21, for those who don't know, already has a portrait mode in video, and it's not bad. But like most things with the new cameras that come out, I think that people will use them occasionally. I don't think it's going to be something that people use all of the time. It's almost like it's a bit of marketing to get one up on the competition. It's things that matter, things that they change that matter most to people, are things that they're going to use all the time. So it's going to be things like hardware and software, not necessarily features. This is just my opinion. And when it comes to this phone, the 13, it's certainly going to have a larger sensor on it. And they're talking about the pixel size being 2.8, which is pretty bloody big. We shall see about that one. That one's not really, none of this is confirmed, by the way. This is just what people have put together through people who work in different factories and stuff. What I can say is that the ultra-wide camera is going from an f2.4 to an f1.8. And anybody who's watched the stuff that I do here with the astrophotography, you'll know that the f number, the aperture number, when it's wider, so 1.8 is wider, it lets in more light. So when we take photos of night mode photos on the 12 Pro or anything 12 Pro that's got the night mode, in fact the 12s have the night mode as well, when you try and shoot on the ultra wide, not just the wide, not just the regular lens, but the ultra wide, it just sucks. It's pretty bad. And the reason for that is the aperture. The aperture is so much tighter, it doesn't let in as much light. So having it at f1.8 would certainly make your nighttime, your astro photos, for what we do here, a wider field of view. Well, that could be quite impressive to see. I'm just going to check on some of these comments that we've got going on. If you need some t-shirt or cap design, sweet as. Good on you. Thanks, Ron. Nice to see people offering help. That's awesome. I really appreciate that. I've got some stuff in there already. If you, I'm not sure how you guys see it. It might be down below the merch shelf. That's only from Teespring. It's just a logo, the Bloody Legends logo. This little bad boy, and you know they don't sell heaps, and I don't make a lot of money. But Ron, I'll certainly keep that in mind, mate. It's one of these things that I think if you were able to make a bit of merchandise that you could use rather than just like put a sticker on your camera bag or a t-shirt, it's I don't know, would you wear a t-shirt with Bloody Legends on it? I'm not sure. It's something that I did because it's what YouTubers do. So I've done it. Some of you guys have bought some, and I appreciate it, don't get me wrong. It's something that I kind of think, do I do that or not? Hey Andres, let's have a look at the Pixel 6. Like the iPhone is, I'm just going to keep moving stuff off my screen here. You can't see it. The software that I use to mirror my phone, so I can do an edit for you guys in a second. It keeps on popping up and I can't see what you guys are saying. So when I have to work that out. So the iPhone 13, the biggest thing is from our point of view, is the bigger sensor. It's the faster aperture and it's the astrophotography. I've spoken about the astrophotography before, but it looks like it's going to have a dedicated astrophotography mode. I would suggest this is only going to be on the Pro models, because when you look at the iPhone 12s, for example, most of the cameras are the same from the 12 mini. So the selfie camera and the main camera, they're the same camera all the way through. It's only when you get to the 12 Pros that things get a little bit better with like the telephoto lenses, the bigger sensor size on the 12 Pro Max and the Pro RAW. And the Pro RAW is the kicker. That's awesome. There's no reason they couldn't do that on the 12s, besides making a bit more money when they sell the Pro models. So I suspect that on the 13 or the 12S or the 21 or whatever the hell they're going to call it, I suspect that astrophotography mode was probably going to be on those Pro models too. That's just the way that I think Apple kind of runs that sort of stuff. I'll have a look at this Pixel. Now, this is in the same sort of, it's all in the same boat, if you like. I'm just going to go back a bit because, so this here, they're making their own processors. It's called the Whitechapel. They're going away from this Snapdragon, and that can be a good thing or a bad thing. They're doing it a little bit with Samsung, and they're doing it mainly so they can keep control over upgrades and stuff. And Samsung have been helping them with the Exynos and trying to, I guess, marry the two. We know how that worked out with the S21, but the main thing that I'm interested in with this Pixel 6 is the camera. Like, we know that does astrophotography really well, and the camera looks to be getting a pretty bloody big upgrade. So the camera sensor they're using on this thing is this Sony IMX800, and that's a pretty big sensor, and Sony make fantastic low light photography sensors. To put it into perspective, it's about a 1-inch sensor, and that's down there. Now above that, just there is the Micro Four Thirds cameras, and I've used those. The Samsung, well, not the Samsung, the Olympus OMD series, they use Micro Four Thirds sensors, and that's just sitting a little bit bigger than what this is going to be. And they're the sort of photos that you can get out of that Olympus, and it's bloody impressive. The other camera that's going to be using this is the Huawei P50 Pro, and that there to me looks like a bloody awesome camera. I'm very I'm very well honest about what I think about what cameras look like. I copped so much flack for saying that thing was ugly, and well, I kind of think it's ugly. I'm not a huge fan of it. It takes a very good photo, but I think that that IMX 800 sensor on the Huawei is pretty neat looking camera. Looks like two little smiley faces. But if you think about how the Pixels run right now, and have a think about how they take multiple images and stack them all together, and they've been doing that for years, and they do it really well. And the hardware has always let them down as far as the sensor on this thing is a few years old now, and they haven't upgraded the hardware on this thing really at all. So when you think about if they do go ahead and put this IMX800, this Sony sensor into that camera, who cares what the processor and stuff is? If they're doing astrophotography with a 1-inch sensor, that's just ridiculous, and that's going to be very, very hard to beat, especially for people who don't want to do the more technical stuff that we do on this channel. So what I mean is when we go out there and shoot raw and spend a lot of time editing these things to make them really pop, the astrophotography photos, for people who don't want to do that, to have the ability to just sit that little Google Pixel camera down on a tripod, hit the go button and wait 4 minutes and come out with photos that is going to blow anything else out of the water because of the size of that sensor and because of that computational photography. Geez, I tell you what, when these two phones come out, well, I reckon you'll probably see both of them here. What else do we want to look at here? Let me go back and check some comments here. It does look like a smiley face, that's what I'm saying. Makes me happy. I've got a little bit of gear. That's the two phones. I've got a little bit of gear here to tell you about. So a few people have asked why I'm always recommending this. This is this, let focus, damn it. There you go. That's the Ulanzi phone holder. I love this thing. I've got a few of them. You've probably seen them in different videos. They're metal. They're spring loaded. Just put it in there and screw, put your phone into here and then screw this down and it clamps it quite well. You put it onto a weaver mount or an Arca Swiss mount, I should say, and weaver mount, that's a gun thing. Arca Swiss, you get a focus that or what, sunshine? There you go. Little like dovetail looking thing, and that goes onto most tripods. And that's what I use all the time. It's for every phone video that you see me do, I'm using that. And a lot of people ask me why you keep using that. I'm not affiliated with, well, no, that's not right. I am affiliated with them. As in I have an affiliate link. If you were to buy something from, if you wanted to buy one of these through the links that I put in my descriptions, I get a commission on that, if you like. But at the same time, anyone who has been watching my channel for a while, you know that I just don't bullshit you. If I think it's good, it's good. If I think it's crap, I'll tell you about it, but I'm probably not going to show you I recommend this thing. In saying that, I went out and I got myself a Manfrotto one. Now, focus, there you go. So the Manfrotto make camera accessories. You're probably well aware of that. In fact, one of the tripods that I use, and it's the oldest tripod that I have, is a Manfrotto tripod. I've had it for bloody years. I've had it for 10, 12 years maybe. So I went out and got this, and I got this mainly because I'm making up a camera rig, and this is going to end up holding a power bank, so I don't need to keep changing batteries out in the video camera as I'm shooting events and stuff. So this will end up holding a power bank on that rig, but I thought I'll before I actually build that rig, I'll take this out and I'll get some photos and give you an idea of what I think with this compared to this. The main thing I see that's a benefit out of the Manfrotto one is that it's spring loaded. So you just open it up, put your phone there and let it spring there and hold that. How much faith you have in something that's spring loaded holding on to your bit of kit that's worth a couple of grand. I'm not sure how I feel about that yet, so I won't take it anywhere on rocky sort of outcrops and stuff like that. So anyway, we'll try that and I'll let you know how it goes. The other thing that I've got, and it's actually, I bought it for the same purpose. I bought it for the phone rig, the video rig that I'm building, is this tripod, and this is a small rig tripod. I'm a huge fan of small rig gear. It's made really well. It's not horrendously expensive, but this will fold down to a pretty flat sort of a tripod. It's really small. Well, you can see how small it is. It's probably 8 inches long, and it's got this. It's metal. It's got a ball head, which anyone who has been watching me for any period of time. Like the ball head, focus. The ball head is really quite important for what we do here. And I can't recommend small rig gear enough. In fact, it's not even something that I link to at all. Once I build my rig, I'll probably put a list of things down in the descriptions and stuff. This will be the handle that goes on top of the camera, and there'll be a video display up here. But it's all metal. It's all really high quality sort of stuff, and it's not expensive. They do a lot of phone gear as well, like phone cases, phone cages, and that sort of stuff. But small rig, can't recommend them enough. Let me just have a look through these comments here, guys. Can Google Pixel do time-lapse astrophotography? No. There's only one camera manufacturer or phone manufacturer that I know that does, that even advertises that it does night-lapse photography, and that's the iPhone. And a video that I've been shooting over the course of the last couple of weeks is all the different functionality of low light photography and videography with the iPhone 12. And in part of that is the night lapse photography or videography. No, it's kind of still photography, it just merges it all together for you. And I've done a video on it before, and it does it automatically, the iPhone does, and it transitions from day to night, which is kind of the go-to ducks nuts of time-lapse photography. But it doesn't do it really well. I've done, in part of that video is, I can't show you. Well, if I thought about it beforehand, I would have put something together and shown you here. But I've done this testing basically of different options in that video, is doing the photo this way and doing the photo this way, and you choose which one's better. And part of that is the night lapse photography, and I set up the phone one night and did a whole night, and I'm talking about 7.5 hours worth of time lapse. Just plugged a power bank into it, set it out there, did the time-lapse, automatic time-lapse feature on the iPhone and let it do it, and then did it with the Nightcap app, the time-lapse, and the Nightcap app just blows it out of the water. It does an incredible job compared to what the native app does. So the Google Pixel doesn't do time-lapse photography like that. One way you could do it is with the way I did it with the Samsung. No Androids do the night-lapse photography that I know of, at least. There's no app that does it. And the way that I did it with the Samsung was with the intervalometer, and set up for like 900 odd photos of 30 seconds each, then brought them into the computer and put them into I think it would have been Final Cut Pro, and then made the time lapse that way. That's one way you can do it. It's a pain in the ass, but you can certainly do it. You still take a lot of photos. Exactly. The downside, I think, though, I'm not sure if the intervalometer works on the Pixel. It's a good idea. I don't know if it does work on it. If it does, you could probably set it up, because that, for me here, where there's no light pollution, I'm taking 4-minute long photos, so I could possibly set up the intervalometer to do a photo every 4.5 minutes to give it that 30 seconds break in between. You could probably do that. I might even give that a go. The moon phase right now is just finished, so I'll tell you, in fact. I'll show you how I use it. So up the top there in the left hand corner is the widget that I use on this phone to tell me what the moon is doing at the moment. So there it's rising at 20 to 5 in the morning and setting in the afternoon. So right now the Milky Way is rising roughly around midnight-ish. So looking at this, I've got a good few hours there of Milky Way or galactic core in the sky. So I could set up, in theory, that Google Pixel, and that's the 4A 5G one there, to, if the intervalometer works, I'm not saying it's going to, certainly something I'll test, and set that up and take a photo every 4.5 minutes and then merge them together in Final Cut Pro. That'll probably work, I would say. So let's go back over here. Questions? Nobody's asking questions today. What I wanted to show you was, for those who don't know, is this, and this is the Facebook group, this Bloody Legends Facebook group, and I set this up mainly to set up a group so that you guys who aren't just part of the community who want to help each other out. Now, I've also got the Patreon page over there, and that there is where I will give you a hand, like one-on-one if you like. So if you've got questions about how to do something with your phone, or you've taken photos and you want help as to why something's not working, that's kind of where I want to do it now. So there's a few people over there now. I don't know, maybe 10 or 12 of you over there who are there. There's a Discord channel there that you can go over there and post questions and photos and stuff onto that group, and I'll help you out one-on-one. If you've got photos that you're struggling with editing, put them over there, and I'll even edit them and record the screen while I do it and show you what I do, why I do it. So we'll talk about this Facebook group in a second. I'll just have a look here at questions because they're coming through now. Which GoPro Hero Black or iPhone 12 would be better for light trail photography? iPhone 12 every day. I think that the GoPro Hero 8 has got a really bad problem with hot pixels, really bad problem. So I've got the 8 and the 9, and the 9 does it a lot better. The 9 tends to, I think, saturate the image a little bit more, and the way that it puts the photo together looks almost pastelish, if you like. It's not quite right word. It's definitely better than the 8, but the Hero 8 with the hot pixels is just, it's horrible. It does a really good job as far as having a small sensor, but technology has moved on a lot since that 8, and the iPhone 12 versus the Hero 8 will just do a much better job. If you were to say the 12 versus the 9, that could be a different case. But 8 versus the iPhone 12, yeah, the 12 I think is a lot better. What's the Stacker app for Windows? That is an app, there's a program called Sequitur, Sequator, I think it is. And it does the same sort of thing as what I use here on my Mac, and I use Starry Landscape Stacker. It does basically the same sort of thing. Is there an No. I wish there was an intervalometer app for the iPhone. Not the same sort of intervalometer app that is on the Galaxy phones. There is something similar on Nightcap app, but it's not doing quite what the native app does. So yeah, nothing exists that I know of yet. I don't know how hard that would be to make. Any app developers out there, fill your boots. 22, 24, sorry. No, I was talking about the Patreon group, mate. Over here, there's 10 or so over there, and basically over here, I'll throw some stuff on there, and you may see some stuff before the rest of you see stuff. But it's basically a place there for one-on-one if you want help with photography. But over here, this is where, look at you all joining up now. This is a place where I think you guys will get a lot of use out of it. And what I might do is every couple of weeks sort of thing, I might just jump in here and have a look at these and show you some of the talent. Look at that. That from a compositional point of view is bloody awesome. With these, the two trees down each side of that, and the subject matter in the middle is like a leading line from that snow through those rocks in the foreground out to the water with that reflection. Who is that? Scott Baker. That's awesome, mate. Love that. Let's have a look at some other ones while we're in here. I don't know if Greg's actually watching this morning, but that just makes me envious that you've got this water moving around. That, like where I live, it's just dry as a bone, it's flat as a pancake, which is why we have such awesome skies. We're a long way from anything. But what Greg's got going on, hey, you are here, Greg. G'day, mate. what Greg's got going on with that sort of photo there, and I think that was a slow shutter cam. Yeah, it was slow shutter cam. It's a ridiculously good photo. I love that sort of environment and the sort of setup with the iPhone with the slow shutter cam. That's the main thing I like about between the iPhone and the Androids, is that there's so many good apps on the iPhones versus the Android phones. There just is, and I've explained why that is the case so many times. But that there is a case in point. Like that's a good photo, and obviously Greg's got a lot of talent. The app absolutely helps make that photo possible. You couldn't have done that without the app. The composition of that is really good with the leading line. The water is obviously that leading line. That's just a ripper photo. I love that sort of photo. What else we got over here? Let's have a look. I'm guessing all you people that are joining at the moment are people who are watching this live stream. That's awesome. Who's that? Jason Peltz. The only thing I would say that would make that photo better is if you inverted the phone. So most of the photos that I take, I don't know how many of you guys realise this, but like a lot of people will take their photo like this. I will almost always invert the phone and just use my thumb as the shutter button on the shutter button and take the photo, getting this as close, especially with reflection photos. I'll get that so close to the water, even I'll put this in the water almost, to get really good photos like that. In fact, I'll show you some I took just during the last couple of days, because where I work during the day, there's been a lot of water with the irrigation that's been going on. So hopefully you guys can see that. So there's some, just getting that water. Hopefully you can see that. I'll head back out of here for a second, because this app's, how I'm sharing this phone, is not playing well. I'll try that again. No, it's not going to let me show you. It's because it's a bloody live photo, that's why. Anyway, you don't get to see it. But that sort of photo there, this one, I think it would have been just a little bit better if you got closer to the water. Let's head back over here, see what else we've got to play with. I reckon these are James's. I recognise these photos. Yeah, James. Not sure where he is. I think he's a Yank, as in American. Now we're talking about, he messaged me a while ago about this black sort of transition from the sky. And I've got a feeling that's to do with light pollution. And if it's, I believe it is. I may be wrong, and I'm more than happy to be told that I'm wrong. But I reckon that's from light pollution. And it looks like Greg has even said that. I should just leave this to you, Greg. That's a ripper photo. I like that. He obviously lives in a place that's got a lot of light pollution. You can tell from those buildings and the power lines and stuff, and those light beams that are coming from the bottom left-hand corner. That's light being picked up from some sort of pretty significant sort of source of light. So I suspect that's from light pollution. I might be wrong in saying that. There's no one right there that doesn't have it. It's got a bit of cloud there though. Mind you, those beams of light are not coming from down that bottom left-hand corner. So it may well be that it is actually light pollution. Yeah, it looks like light pollution. Pro camera for iPhone has an involumeter. Yeah, just reading these other ones. Response getting light trail photos. No worries, man. No worries, Dave. Greg, yeah, it does, but it doesn't have the night capabilities like the so the beauty of that. So what I'm talking about here, guys, is, so Greg in the comments there has said Pro camera has the intervalometer, and it does, but it doesn't have longer exposure than 1 second. And for the nighttime photos, we want to have that longer exposure, regardless of how we achieve that. So if it's just with the native camera app on the iPhone, it's going to take that HDR sort of 30-second night mode photo. If that works, it works, but I want to do it multiple times. I mean, like hundreds of times. So we want the way that the intervalometer works with the Androids, it's another app there's the camera app, and the intervalometer goes over the top of that and just keeps on pushing the shutter button however many times that you tell it. And to have, like, Pro camera has it, but you can only shoot for 1 second, so that just won't work for what we're trying to achieve. It'll work for like sunsets and things like that, but not for the night stuff, I don't think. You thought light pollution too. So let's have a quick look while we're here at some of these other photos, because they're pretty bloody good. There's that iPhone photography group. This was a good idea. Whose was this? Devo. This was a good idea. I like this. It's because if you were to stand up and look at this sort of a photo from like eye height, there wouldn't be that much in it, but getting lower to the ground gives you a lot more foreground element, obviously, and all of a sudden these dead leaves turned into the main focus point of the photo, and that's a very cool idea. I like that. No point me talking to you guys unless I click on that button so you can see what the hell I was talking about. This is the photo I was just talking about. That's a ripper photo. What else we got here? That's kind of cool. I like the leading line in that photo. You've got the moon up there on the left-hand side. That's a cool photo. I'm not sure if Jason's in here watching this. Good job, man. There's some more stars. Looks like a bit of light pollution out there on the horizon. Andre, I think you're in here watching this. That's a good photo, man. I would say, like with this photo here, you can see that that's the tail of the galactic core there. So that line of stars in the sky. So in, I would say in probably another month or so, pull out photo pills and use photo pills at that location where that windmill is, and fast forward time in the settings in photo pills. When you go into augmented reality, then go up to settings and change the date and time, and just fast forward it, like go a month away and change the time of the night as you scroll through and see where that core moves. And I think because you've got that windmill and that line of stars is absolutely the tail of the galactic core, in a couple of months you'll probably find that the actual core, the gaseous cloud, is probably sitting right next to that windmill. So it's certainly something to keep an eye on, man. That'll be a really cool photo. What else we got here? I absolutely love this photo. It's I like how that's light painted. Who's Andres again? Man, this guy's just killing it. This is the light painting that's in this with the bricks on the building. This is not lit. If you look closely on these bricks, you'll see where the shadow sits on the bricks. Now, I'm not sure if this was done by the person shooting the photo or it was just happenstance that there was light along this side. Just let me read what's up here. Oh, he did do light painting. Cool. You can see from the shadows, see the shadows on the bricks. This photo is obviously lit from the left-hand side. And if you were to light this photo from the front, it would be a vastly different photo and it wouldn't look nearly as good. But because he's lit it from the side, you can see all the corrugations on the tin, all the shadows in the brickwork. That makes it to be a ripper photo. That's really cool. Let's have a quick look whilst we're here for others. They're really cool photos. You guys do such a good job. What is this? It looks like a screenshot. What app is that? Is that maybe, what was that called? Stellarium? Is that one? This looks like an S21 photo. It is. Yeah, it's cool. Oh, this is that one. So what he's done here is he's taken one he's taken one photo with the galaxy, with the probably 30 times zoom, I would say that would be, and he's put that over the top of another photo. He's merged these two in Snapseed, I think it was. Yeah, this Snapseed. So he's taken a photo, a night photo with the iPhone, and then the moon photo with the galaxy, and merged them together in Snapseed. And I would dare say that either the people who are hardcore iPhone people or the people who are hardcore Android people are having a conniption fit about that photo because you've merged the two. Oh, I love it. It's awesome. I won't go through any more of those. I think that's you've done really good there, guys. So if you're not in there, obviously while people are watching this, I'll see them trying to join that channel already. Good job. Good job. Let's have a quick look at a edit, and we'll get out of here. So today, it's now that we're kind of opened up again now, so we're able to go and do things again. So as far as the virus here in Australia goes, we've got none of it. We're an island, for crying out loud. We shouldn't have any of it. We've got probably some cases in hotel quarantine, and that's about it. So they've decided that, hey, we can go and play like adults now, and weddings and stuff are kicking back off. So today or tonight, I've got a wedding to shoot in a neighbouring town. Not a lot of light pollution there, so I should be able to get some really cool photos once the sun goes down, with some astrophotography with the bride and groom in the front, and that's kind of what I'm known for. And the next weekend, I've got another one up in Swan Hill, which is a good hour and a half away, and that's a reasonably big town. And I'm going to, while I'm up there, I'm going to go and try and, it is Stellarium. Thanks, mate. I'm going to go up there and try some astro photos, because it's a pretty big town. Some astro photos with my phones after that wedding's done. So that'll be interesting to see as well. And so stay tuned for that. Let's have a look at Stellarium. So Stellarium, is there an augmented reality on Stellarium? But looking at that photo, that photo there. See, Stellarium I used to use on the computer before I found PhotoPills, and I'm not sure if what I'm looking at here is an augmented reality or it's just a graphical overlay of where the GPS on the camera is, or the GPS on the phone is pointing. The thing I like about PhotoPills is that it uses the camera and the graphical overlay to show you where the Milky Way will be with what's actually there. Whereas Stellarium, on the computer at least, it used to just give you some like silhouettes of trees and buildings and stuff, and that kind of looked to me like that's what that was. But I'm interested to know. I think that's even a free app, isn't it? So it's maybe something that I should look at as well. So have a look at a photo, and we'll edit it. So the other day, I took some images. I took this photo. Actually, it was it was for a short. Actually, this video here that you may have seen, you may not have seen. That was just a ridiculously good sunrise. That out there in the morning, I was driving that tractor around and feeding out some hay for the cattle, and I thought, what an awesome photo. With the sun rising like that. What I didn't show you is that when I hopped back into the tractor, I took this one as well. And I'll run through this quickly, what I would do with this sort of a photo. It's not an astrophotography photo, but I'm just going to basically demonstrate. The reason I'm doing this photo is it demonstrates pretty well the dynamic range that you can pull out of. So this one was the iPhone 12 Pro Max, and we'll go through here. It's a raw photo, so we might just do some, bring up the shadows in this. I should be able to get the whole console and everything in the tractor there, but I won't do that from here. Bring down the highlights, bring up the exposure overall. I'll change the white balance in here to the sunny because it was, well, sunny, and we'll hit the tick on all that. We'll go into tools, and we'll go to tune image. What I'm going to try and do here is bring out some of the details that are in the console in the front there in the tractor. And I'll do that with ambience and with shadows. Like look at that, that's just crazy. If I zoom in there, there's a little bit of noise there you can see. But for a phone that's a sensor that's this size, that's ridiculous. I'll bring that down a little bit. And might bring up the saturation on that just a little. And hit the tick on him. Go back into tools. And show you this HDR scape. Now, in some of the Facebook groups that I belong to, people tend to overuse this tool, this HDR scape. And the reason that I think that they're using it too much is because they're using it wrong. So if we have a look at what's causing all these halo effects here, see the halo down that windscreen wiper, and the halo that's around the steering wheel here. You see it more so out, not so much on this particular photo, but you see it a lot when there's a high contrast of the sky and trees and things like that. And the reason it's like that is because you're just using it wrong. If you go back down to the tent icon down the bottom there, and it's got nature and it's got people. When I change it back to people, you don't tend to get that nearly as much. And when it comes to HDR, the HDR scape filter on Snapseed, less is so much better than more. It's you can really make your photo look like it came out of the Pixel studios, as in the Disney studios. So before and after, when you touch and hold on Snapseed, so the tool that I'm in right now, if I want to know what difference I've made, if I just touch and hold onto that, you can see there it's made it a little bit brighter, but not a great deal. It's bringing the HDR, the overexposed photo, the mid-range photo, and the lower range photo, if you like. It's trying to bring all those together. They're not actually photos, just making that effect. So I'm going to leave that like that. What else do we want to do with this? Do I want to try that Retrolux? No, I don't. That looks shit. What I will show you though is a tool, this lens blur tool. The lens blur tool has got the radial tool, so it gives you like a circular sort of a blur. And that's good for when you want to bring focus to something. So if I brought it down to here, you can see the rest of the photo there. I'll just make it even more blurry so I can explain better what I'm talking about here. If I wanted the focus to be on the control panel in that tractor, I'd put it there. If I wanted it to be on the sunset, on the sunrise only, I'd bring it to there. Now you can squeeze that around and change it slightly, and that's great. But if I wanted that sunset or the sunrise to be the main focal point of that, well, that is, but it's a little bit unrealistic. No camera takes that sort of a photo. Down the bottom there, you've got that circle with a dot in the middle. That's to show us that it's a circular sort of a filter that we're doing. If I touch on that now, it changes it to a more of a tilt shift sort of a filter effect. Now, if I change it around just a little bit like that, it gives more emphasis on the horizon there. That makes sense? I'll hit the tick on that. I like how that looks already. Well, last thing I'll do to this photo, because I've got, and the reason I'm doing this is if you look at this photo, you've got the high and the low in the photo. So like the roof inside the cab of the tractor and the dashboard, it's darker than what the middle of it is. But down the sides of the photo, it's not dark at all. So what I would tend to do with this is use a vignette tool here and bring it down just so slightly on the edge of the photos. There's the before and after you can see there, and that's all I would do with this photo. You can move that tool around obviously, but I like how it is just there. there's the before and after of that photo. So you can see there the dynamic range, the shadows that are being brought out by this. I think it's quite impressive. Let's have a look at these questions, guys, and then we'll probably get out of here. I want that one. I want that one. Put a link there. What link did you put there, Greg? I'm not sure. Oh, this is for the ProCam. Yep. The photo was to show how much of the Milky Way was at the time without. Gotcha. So what we're talking about here is, let me just change this back to over to here. This photo here, this is Stellarium, and this. Okay, I understand now. So this photo here is a screenshot of what it was looking like for this one. So that answers the question of Stellarium and using the camera on the phone with Stellarium versus photo pills. So these buildings and the trees weren't actually there, they're just part of the app, and you can see there how the core is rising from the top of that building slightly up and left, and over here is how it is in real life from the bottom there up to this slightly up and left. Yeah, cool. So I honestly think if you wait another month or two, you'll probably find the core is rising up nicely above that windmill. When is it coming out? I'm not sure what you're talking about there. You're talking about the iPhone and stuff. The iPhones generally come out September, October, and you're going to find the same thing with the Pixel, I would imagine. They're going to come out before Christmas to get the best bang for your buck, if you like. The the Huawei phone, I touched on it there, the ones with the smiley face, they were meant to come out last month, and their website is blissfully ignorant on the fact that they didn't come out. They don't actually mention it anywhere in Australia, on Australia's website at least. I've reached out to those guys and heard nothing back. So some rumour says it's going to come out the beginning of May. So in a few more weeks, we'll see. But a 1-inch sensor doing what we do on this channel, that would be bloody awesome. It's about all I've got for you today, guys. So next week you'll see that printing video once I change the music that's in there, and we're all good to go. All right, guys, I'll catch you all later. Have a good one.